translated here in the Goblet of the Truth. Um, I don't know why, but it says, and if you are not equipped with good knowledge in the teaching of the truth, the teaching of the Spirit, the teaching of the light, and do not decide to go out in order to spread the truth teaching, rather be averse to such, because without sufficient knowledge, you can do more harm than good success. Therefore, you shall stay back, remain at home with the other sedentary ones, once remaining at home, if you are not sufficiently skillful, well-versed, well-read in the teaching. And so we know that in the Goblet of the Truth, the prophets all speak about, the teaching of the truth, the teaching of the Spirit, which is now creation energy, more correctly, and the teaching of the light. And one of the things, as Christian pointed out, I think it's important for us that when we read the Goblet of the Truth, that we incorporate the meditation, which is to focus and concentrate on something, right? To really fathom something. And one of the instructions or suggestions that Christian once gave was that when we study something in the goblet and we identify it, that we should sometimes, take a short break and really fathom and contemplate what it is that it's saying, so that we kind of enter a deeper level of its understanding. And for the evolution of the human being, especially at our level of evolution right now here on Earth, we have the teaching of the truth, we have the teaching of the creation energy, and we have the teaching of the light. And as I come to understand, the teaching of the truth pertains to the universe, nature, everything around us in the reality. And it's important for the brain, as a previous discussion we just had about the brain and belief, it's important for our evolution to really be able to identify truth, meaning reality. As far as the creation energy, this is where we get into, as I've understood it, consciousness abilities and its power. And so, and of course, the teaching of the life refers to being a true human being, in the sense of that word, a true human being. And I kind of wanted to spend a couple of minutes to see, to kind of play a game here with chapter 1. And what I found interesting about chapter 1 from the prophet Enoch is that there are suggestions or recommendations in the Goblet of the Truth that we also find from Anahat Apasata. And that is that really the great emphasis, but even Ptah has stressed this, that we try to focus when we share with people, we try to focus on those aspects of the teaching of the truth that are easily recognizable in the free nature. There are things that pertain to the teaching of the truth that unfortunately at this stage of planet Earth, we're not able to actually prove. For example, the existence of the Pleiaren, the existence of life in the universe. Although that is part of the teaching of the truth, because it's a reality, we do not have the ability to prove it. So we will be creating a mistake if we try to impose on another individual that the Pleiaren exists when we're not able to actually prove that. But it's much more easy, and I found this experience with fellow friends and acquaintances and what have you that are very religious, very strong religious beliefs. If I keep the topic to those things that are recognizable in nature, they immediately have a connection with it. There is no argument. You know what I mean? And they even have their own little inputs based on their own observations and what they perceived about nature. So any aspects of the teaching of the truth, I now keep it to those things that are recognizable in the free nature. As far as the creation energy aspect, what's good about the creation energy and why even Ada Prasada says that we should really focus on a lot of that is because every one of us, even the most religious amongst us, has experienced that intuition. You know, we've experienced the effects of thoughts and how they affect us, meaning the psyche, right? And I found that there are many inner experiences which are learned about in the later chapters or the latter chapters of the goblet, that once those are understood and perceived, it's very easy in a conversation to discuss them, where a person can really reflect and think about it and say, yeah, I've experienced that. You know what I mean? So eventually those aspects of the creation energy lead to the self-responsibility and the self-power to determine one's own fate and control one's own destiny. And it's important, especially with religious people, to recognize that the power is within them and not some external force, without attacking that external force, but just helping them to realize within themselves that power and that ability, which the consciousness has. And of course, the teaching of the life, that one is even easier because everyone understands and appreciates a person who is sympathetic and considerate, you know, a virtuous person, people that are honest and trustworthy and so forth. So these are qualities of the character and so on that anyone would agree are of extreme value in a human being and especially in relationships. So we're running out of time. We have less than a minute here, but when you study the Goblet of the Truth in chapter 1, Enoch was a brilliant master teacher in the sense that what he shared are 7 key elements of those 3 aspects of the creational teaching, in a sense that one, it would be easy to learn and remember. And but he articulates it in a way that he built it up from the teaching of the life. He also has in number 6, creation energy. And again in 7, he kind of, you know, brings it all together. But maybe next time we'll be able to more thoroughly go over chapter 1 and then identify each one, what they pertain to. So my time is up, and so I turn this over to